He leaned in close, his breath sour with whiskey, his words sharper than the knife on the wedding table. If it wasn't for pity, no one would have invited you. 17 years since he'd thrown me out, and still his voice carried the same venom, same sneer, same satisfaction in trying to cut me down. I didn't answer, I just sipped my wine. Let him believe he'd landed the blow, because the real strike was still waiting. I was 13 when he told me to leave, said I was weak, said I'd never amount to anything. He shoved me onto the porch with nothing but a duffel bag and the clothes on my back. My mother stood in the doorway, silent, like a shadow that refused to move. I walked into the night alone, slept on couches, worked jobs no one wanted, fought for every inch of survival. And in that fight, I found something my father never expected: discipline. At 18, I signed a paper that would change my life: the Army. While he poured drinks at bars, I was learning strategy, resilience, and control. Every rank I earned, every stripe on my uniform was a step further away from the boy he'd discarded. By 30, I was a soldier men followed. By 40, a leader other leaders listened to. And by 45, I had a title carved in stone: Major General. He never knew, not until tonight. When I walked into the reception hall, heads turned. Old classmates, neighbors, even my brother's friends, they saw a man they didn't recognize. Tailored uniform under the dress blues, posture straight, calm, commanding. But my father saw only the boy he'd broken. That's what narcissists do. They stay stuck in their own past. So when he spat those words, I didn't flinch. I let them hang in the air, heavy, petty, beneath me, because the room was about to shift. The bride, my brother's wife now, rose with the microphone. She tapped the glass, her voice bright and warm. "I'd like to make a toast," she said. "Not to the groom, not to me, but to someone in this room whose story deserves to be honored." The crowd murmured. Glasses stilled. My father's smirk grew. He thought she meant him. Then she turned. Her eyes found mine. "To Major General Davis," she said, lifting her glass, "a man who served, who fought, who rose when life tried to keep him down. A man I am proud to welcome into this family." The room erupted. Applause thundered against the chandeliers. Glasses clinked. People stood. I raised my glass, steady, calm. My father didn't move. The look on his face, priceless. His smirk collapsed, his jaw slack, his skin pale. The title echoed in his ears: Major General. The boy he'd thrown into the street now outranked him in every sense of the word. He whispered, almost choking, "General?" I met his eyes. Cold, controlled. 17 years, Dad. Maybe you should have paid attention. He blinked fast, searching for words, but none came. The man who once defined himself by power, by dominance, had just been stripped of it, in front of everyone. The night moved on, but for him, it ended there. Every laugh, every cheer in my honor was another nail in the coffin of his pride. I didn't gloat, didn't rub it in. That's not how real power works. Real power is silence while they crumble under the weight of their own regret. When he tried to approach me later, I excused myself. Let him stand alone in a crowd that now looked at him differently. No longer the patriarch, just the bitter man who'd kicked out a future general. As I drove away that night, uniform jacket folded neatly beside me, I thought back to the porch 17 years ago. His words had been meant to destroy me. Instead, they became fuel. He gave me nothing, and from nothing, I built everything. The revenge wasn't in humiliating him at that wedding. It wasn't in the applause, the toast, or the shocked faces. The revenge was in every year I spent proving him wrong without ever saying his name. And the final blow? Letting him choke on the truth in front of everyone he'd tried to impress. So yes, I sipped my wine and smiled, because the boy he abandoned was gone, and in his place stood the man he could never become.